Hey people, so I got a question from somebody who's new in my life. Um, I haven't met her in person yet, even though we've been talking for a little bit. The question she had was, and I know this is kind of, because she's kind of newer to the life and stuff, but when is it when is it appropriate to take it from online or over the phone into real life? When is it, when do you make that leap? Um, there's no real set timeline because it, it it's what works for you and the other person. As a dominant, and most dominants I know probably would agree with me on this, the answer would be as soon as possible. Um, Simply because, you know, online is nice, online is fun, and we get to play around and talk and have fun. But we like the real life stuff. That's that. If we have the possibility of meeting in real life, we want to get that out of the way, at least that first awkward meeting as quickly as possible. Um, but for the submissives out there, especially female submissives, and again, this might sound a little sexist, but I'm just gonna deal with it as it is from my point of view from being around this long enough. Um, it's 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 definitely a gut feeling. The biggest thing is not to overthink it, because you a lot of times dominants do this too. So don't get me wrong, but submissives have a real bad ability to overthink things. They just kind of do. And they're questioning, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? But then once it's over, it's kind of like, why did I even think that in the first place? That's the point. Half the time, it's just go for it. Take the leap. You're going to have those butterflies. Because yes, you've talked to them. Yes, you've had conversations over the phone. Yes, you've talked over maybe over Skype. You've talked over, um, you know, all of these things, and you've texted 100 times. You've talked over FET 100 times, and you probably have gotten her naked or gotten him naked to send you photos or played with you over these things and stuff. But really what it comes down to is just taking the leap, because you don't know what's going to happen. This is why uh, doing things properly is a good idea. And what I mean by proper is a couple simple steps. First off, try to meet them in a public place. Uh, Munches are the best place you could possibly meet because you're going to be surrounded by a bunch of other kinksters. Short of that, a fast food place, a coffee place, some place like that. And then just go with your gut on where you go next. Um, Now, saying that, I'm kind of a hypocrite because I hate doing that. I prefer just to meet in person at my place and see where it goes. Uh, I've I can say honestly that out of the probably hundreds of times that I've met somebody, maybe 3 times or 4 times, I didn't wind up fucking them before they left. Just take that for what it is. That's just me. I know me. I know what I do, and I know I'm good at it. But the thing about it is that I also know that I'm a good guy. I'm not a liar. I'm not a faker. This is who I am. This is what I am. This is what I do. The thing is that you have to make sure that you listen to your gut. If your gut is telling you this person is weird and there's something off, listen to your gut. Um, Another thing that's a good thing to do is a safe call. This specifically is have somebody on the outside, a friend, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever, somebody who is not connected directly to the situation, but is a friend of yours. Have a safe call set up so that an hour into the meeting, they can call you to see if you're okay. Okay? Two things that your safe call has to have is your phone number and the address of where you're going to be, the actual legitimate address. And if you meet at a coffee place and you're going someplace else, make sure you text that address that you're going to the person who is doing your safe call. Because the idea of a safe call is if they call you and you don't answer, their next call is to 911. That's what it's for. Because if you get yourself in trouble, then you need somebody who's going to be on the outside who can call to get you help. Now, an hour, there's a lot that can happen in an hour. A lot of good and a lot of bad. And the thing is that you keep it really simple. If your gut tells you, don't let this guy do this to you, don't do it. If you have a weird feeling about somebody tying you up, don't do it. Especially if you're in a situation where you are supposed to be meeting one person, you show up at the place, and there's somebody unexpected. I have been told stories about this type of situation going horrible. Don't do that. If there's something like that happening, you have full right to say, this is not what I agreed to, and walk out the door. You cannot, if they want to sit there and badmouth you, that's on them. And then you tell the whole story to the people who are coming to you, and they'll come to the realization that the person is the scumbag and not you. That you did the right thing. You got out of there for your own safety. So that's kind of it. Like I said, basic things are go with your gut, but don't let yourself talk yourself out of it. Have a safe call, and one last thing, one very very last thing, is after the meeting is over, when you get home, text them, talk to them, check to see how they're doing. Okay, both as the dominant and as the submissive, you want to check on them to see if they're okay. How are they feeling? Because the thing about it is that you might have a great time there, but then get home and start running through all of these things in your head, and you wind up thinking about things that you didn't like, and all of a sudden the situation goes from being a good situation to being a bad situation simply because you've had time to decompress and to internalize it. So, like I said, don't overthink it. Have a safe call and make sure you check in with the other person afterwards. So, that's going to be it for now. Be well and safe.